Now, Calhoun County is now in a state of disaster as a layer of oil coats the Kalamazoo River and continues to move downstream.
Now, this morning, we're tracking that oil. That spill started in Marshall, likely sometime on Sunday, dumping 840,000 gallons of crude into the river. The goal now is to keep the oil out of Morrow Lake. And Congressman Fred Upton working with federal officials to control this spill. He's live on the phone right now. Good morning, Congressman. I know you prefer Fred, but I'm going to at least give you a little bit of a proper, the proper title here. But Fred, what's going on out there? What are you doing today?
Well, I've already talked briefly with the EPA this morning. Within the hour, we're hoping that we can embark on a plan that will begin to put booms in 10 different places between, in essence, the county line and Lake Morrow. Lake Morrow is a real challenge. We don't want it to get into the lake because Lake Morrow, of course, being a man-made lake back in the 20s, is filled with PCBs. It's been capped, but the Kalamazoo River itself is a leading source of PCBs into Lake Michigan. And if somehow the oil gets in there, gets disturbed with the cleanup or whatever, it could unleash that into the lake, into the river, and then, of course, into the big lake, Lake Michigan. So we're going with some daunting challenges here. I know rain is in the forecast. The water, the current is so fast, it's over its banks and got through the big booms that they had in yesterday. So that's why we're looking at 10 additional sites today. The thing that's critical, and I urged the governor last night and the local folks as well, including Enbridge, is that we don't have time for some of these permits for public comment, all of that. We got to get the job done. That was a big mistake down in the Gulf. They just waited too long. We've got to act now. Hours are critical. It could well be over 1 million gallons that's in the river, and we just got to stop it.
And that's what a lot of people are concerned about right now. They're concerned about, they're seeing what's happened in the Gulf and they're seeing what's gone wrong there, and they don't want the same mistakes made here in West Michigan. How are you guys tackling that?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, we've been chatting with both governors down there, Governor Jindal, who I used to serve with, Governor Haley as well. We can't make those mistakes. The governor, I know, our governor, was on the phone last night with Lisa Jackson, the administrator of the EPA, trying to get it sprung that we can get additional booms from the Coast Guard, who have it pre-positioned around the Great Lakes. I talked to the Cleveland Great Lakes Command for the Coast Guard for us. They're ready to go. They've got booms in Milwaukee as well as in Grand Haven. We think that if we need that, and it can be here very, very quickly, but they had to get the word from EPA, and we'll know probably later this morning if that request is coming.
Fred, the governor last night called the response by the company Enbridge anemic. Would you classify it that way?
She did. I talked to the governor before she got on the helicopter. I got text messages from her while she was up there, and I talked to her a number of times after she got off. She was so alarmed. Anemic was the word that she used. She said, "Fred, we need help." She was able to get the Enbridge folks on the helicopter still last night at dusk just to see how bad it was. I talked to the Enbridge folks later on last night, 11:30, something like that. They told me about the new plan that they're going to work on overnight and actually begin to implement it as early as 7 a.m. this morning.
Talk more about that 7 a.m. deadline. That's actually a deadline this morning that they're shooting for. What can we expect at that time?
Well, this morning the plan should be done. It should be approved by the EPA. And hopefully they can start at first crack of light. There's a lot of tree stumps. There's a lot of trouble to access to where these sites are going to be. And but hopefully right at 7 they're going to be putting in more booms upwards of the river that will hopefully prevent it from getting down to Lake Morrow.
Wait, starting at 7 o'clock this morning? Because we heard 10 o'clock this morning that they'd start putting in the booms.
When I talked to them last night, and this was about 11:30, they thought that the plan would be approved and they could be ready to move at 7 a.m. this morning.
And we do have some concerns about Morrow Lake, though. I mean, that's really kind of interesting that could stir up some other chemicals that we just didn't expect to have to be dealing with.
That's right. That's why it's so critical that we try to stop it before it gets there, because that is a brand new handicap that is enormous, as you might imagine, not only in terms of the cost of the cleanup, but also in terms of the added pollution, added elements that would get further down the river for all these different communities, as well as Lake Michigan.
All right, thank you so much.
We'll be on it all day.
Sure, certainly. Congressman Fred Upton speaking with us live this morning. Thank you for taking time for us.
You bet.